Welcome everybody, my name is Mike Hamilton from Trade the Easy Way, and we are just going to take a walk through the charts and see what the UK and US markets are doing at this stage. So we've got the dollar index, predominantly euro and pound, sitting on this resistance level. So key period as we are, let me think, 7 hours off the deadline for Mr. Trump's demands to finish to sort out the war in Iran. So let's see what is going to come of that tomorrow. But I mean, you can see the markets are poised to either push this dollar up or drop it, whichever is going to be the result of this outcome. I think my money is on the dollar rolling over here. What I think is going to happen, let's get the pen. Well, why is this crucial? I'll talk about that in a minute. So I think just as the dollar rolled over here, I think this is topping out, and that is the potential head and shoulders necklines. This is the crucial level. So any close under 98 and this dollar could really roll over, or at least pull back, not necessarily drop hard, but certainly pull back. So if it just winds lower, then that could be very healthy for the market. If it drops hard, that is extremely bad for the markets, because that will really spook the markets, I think. So as the dollar index is poised, let's have a look at the indices. So here we have the Dow just chopping around in this tight range, waiting for the outcome and waiting for the market reaction to this deadline that's looming. So we've been touching this support just around the 46,200, touching resistance at 46,800 roughly, and here we are sitting in the middle waiting. Note that I've got a 50 and 200 day average here, so the Dow is potentially going to have a golden cross. If this Dow fails here at 46,000, that gives us the cross of the 50 and 200 day average, and could see this market moving right the way down to 43,000. Who knows, maybe even lower. So unless the market reacts well to whatever happens at 8 p.m. Eastern time, then we're going to get an outcome, and I suspect the Nasdaq is going to look the same. So Nasdaq sitting on the support, but that's under the 250. So everything's poised. Quick look at the FTSE and then we'll move on. So FTSE has come off this resistance. I've had this 10,500 line on there for quite a while now, or at least a good few weeks, and we come under that. So poised as you'd expect. Right, let's look at oil and gold. So oil is sitting under this resistance. That blue dotted line is yesterday's close, which I use on smaller time frames. So if this is a bull flag and we hold this 105, then we're going to see those highs again. We're going to see 115, 116 again. If worst case scenario, if it breaks, we're coming up to 130 and potentially up to 145, 150. Okay, so we are coming up on volume. So we are poised at this stage to go higher, unless we get a reaction after tonight. Right, so stocks. Let's look at gold before we go. Before we move on, sorry, not go. Come on, gold. All right, this is gold, right. I've been buying dips, including today, on gold. not to hold, just as a intra-week trade. So we've got that little support down there, and we've got that resistance over there. So here we are. All these markets are poised to move one way or the other. So I've been buying dips in gold, so I'm looking for this to push up to 4,800, 5,000, etc., and potentially to March. If it really gets going, we could be looking at 6,000, 6,500 and more if this is a bull flag and we close above 48,000, 4,800, 5,000. All right, so let's look at some stocks. Let's look at some financial stocks. Here's Sabre Insurance, holding up really well ever since I got out of it. So it looked really dire here, as markets quite often do at times. And then we just shot, I think it was earnings, wasn't it? I made a slip up, didn't check when earnings were. And this is pushing up. So this is still viable at the moment. Any pullback to 145, and I think that can go and see 170, 185. So I would still buy back into that if we came down to 145 and held. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it. Let's look at Money Supermarket. So this is struggling. So we had a severe drop on the 10th of Feb, and all we've done is push back into that resistance. That's pretty much where it came from, and then we started another descent. I think this is potentially lower. If we, I don't see this as a double bottom. I think I can be happily proved wrong, but there is an increase in volume as we've moved sideways. But all we've got to do is break 144 and we're coming lower. If I'm wrong, we're going to close above 150 and potentially go back to 185, £2 plus. But given what sensitive times we are in the market, I would be very careful and be on the cautious side. I'm not in this. I've not traded this recently, and so this is just my object view on that. Let's stick with financials. Let's go and find my current list, and let's check on is RBS. So on the 23rd, we picked up off support and we've pushed up. We're now tight between these two averages. So for this to continue, we've got to close above £6. I wouldn't mind betting we might see 550 again. If we see 550 again and hold, the little the gap has officially closed, but technically closed, but you might see a move back to that 550. If that pulls back to 550 and holds, then I think we can go and see £7 plus. Were we to really get going on this, I suspect the other banks are going to look like this as well. Were we to maintain above this zone, i.e. £6 plus, then I think that can we could go and see 850 plus on that one. Decent pot. So I would put an alert on that 550 and see if I can pick that up if it comes down there and holds. Barclays is not on this list, so I have to do this manually. Barclays is very, very similar. Surprise! I thought it would be. So we're struggling with the £4, 410. Any move into 388, and I think that is viable if it holds on volume. Moving, let's look at Shaw again. Start punching anything you want me to look at, or you're watching, or you're engaged in. Okay. Yeah, so Shaw had a really nice, that's quite a nice buy signal down there, 30th of March. We retested it on the 31st down there at 310. Here we are at 340. And volumes are picking up. So we have seen this before on this one, where it picks up, looks promising, and then pulls back again. So we picked up here, sold, picked up here, picked up here, picked up here. So we've got a series of lower highs and lower lows. So if you're in it, stay put. Get your stop underneath these recent lows. If we come up to 360, 370 and hold, then I think this could wind its way back up. But if we hit that anywhere around here and then start closing lower, be warned, be careful. But the volumes are higher. We've got a series of higher closes, unlike some of these areas down here. So Shaw is looking good, but I'll keep saying, given the circumstances of Iran, it is dodgier. Right, let's look at Glencore and so on, Camel. So can you just remind me what Camel does again? I asked you this last week and I've forgotten. Just want to qualify what sector that's in. Copper miner, right, okay. Well, that's got me interested then, because I meant to look at copper today and I forgot, so we're going to look at that in a minute. I would really like to see 145 again. Volumes have been dropping off the last few days. I'd love it to come back into that 23rd of March area price and possibly down to September. But if it starts pushing higher on a higher price, I will buy into that on a higher level. But ideally, I would love to see that dropping lower back into that 23rd of May area. Just going to look at, what else do I need to look at? Software, UK and US software organizations are really getting hit. This is, what do they call them? Softcat, is it Softcat, isn't it? I'm just steering clear of this. In actual fact, I'm just being very cautious at the moment till we get a little bit more, to get today out of the way for a start. Big push up on 18th. I wouldn't mind betting that will drop back into that area. I wouldn't mind dropping that will drop back into 11.5. At which point I would consider buying that. I'll look at yours in a minute. Just want to go through Drax sitting high. What's the other one? Avon. Just flicking around at the watch list at the moment. Avon. Defense stock. I would love to see that closer to 15, but I'm going to leave it for now. But I'm going to keep a close eye on that. The volume has been dropping off recently, so that is not a hot favourite of mine at this stage. Right, so the other ones I got here are US. So let's start looking at Andy's for in print. Okay, what do these guys do? What industry are they in, Andy? These printers? Media, right. So yeah, it came right. So we burst up on the 10th of November, and we done boomeranged back to that. Decent closes since the 23rd. Volume's a little light in the last week, but we've come up here from before, so I can see why you are interested in this one. Yeah, I'll put this on the list. So I can watch it. I'll watch it with you, but well, you're in it, so S4 Capital. Yeah, this is an ad agency, isn't it? I've been watching this before. Right, this is what's his face? Martin Sorrells. Is this a break off from WP? I can't remember. I've forgotten the story now. I think this is a breakaway from WP, isn't it? WPP. Anyway, so we've hit a lot of resistance up there. So since that breakdown in April 25, we're knocking our heads on that breakdown area at the moment. Volume has been good. I tend to avoid this sector like the plague because I have inside knowledge on how a lot of it works. Right, yeah, I knew there was a direct link with WPP, yeah. I'd just momentarily forgotten it. Yeah, like I said, I don't like this sector. I think it's very vulnerable to downturns. This sector goes first in to a downturn and is generally last out. If we are heading for rocky periods, then this could get hit. Although having said that, this has got some really nice moves. Really nice move from the 23rd again. Up from 20 to 32. Yeah, I mean, if you're in it and you've got profits, great. I'm not touching it because, well, for example, has just hit a lot of resistance. I could be tempted if it came down to 20 and had decent volume, but for me, I would steer clear. Right. Any other British stuff you want to look at before I start looking at some US? Let me just go through my list. What are the housing? So look at what the housing's doing. Taylor Woodrow, yuck. Yeah, so I drew this recently, basically saying, yeah, if we close above 117, we're going higher. If we stay underneath that trend line, we're going lower. And this is struggling, really struggling. Persimmon. That's had good volume in the last couple of days. Again, at the moment, I'm just avoiding this sector like the plague. Right. Metals. The famous US copper miner. Been on a little run. There's a lot of support down there. It's had a three-way correction here off of that 49, so I would be interested in a lower number on FCX. but I'll keep an eye on camel in the meantime. Oh, this is Morgan Asset Management, I think it's called. UK stock. Morgan Applied Materials, that's it. MGAM is the ticker on here. I'm going to do a bit more homework on that one, but I am liking metal related stocks, so I am going to take a close look at MGAM. Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. If that goes under £2 and holds, I'd be interested in that. I think that's a good way to mark that one. Right, let's have a look at copper. High grade, that's coffee, isn't it? Copper. Yeah, I'll keep a close eye on this. I would really like to see that closer to 110, 111. But yeah, okay, so it's good to look at copper just to get our heads around the prospect for higher copper miners. Quick look at, while I'm on these stocks, look at natural gas. June is the time to start looking at natural gas. Soybeans, wheat. I'm still in wheat. Right, what else do you want to... It's ex-div on Thursday, right. Let's look at Lloyd's. We talked about Lloyd's recently. Yeah, see, Lloyd's is good if we get a pullback. Prudential has pulled back. HSBC, Hiscox, Hargreaves. Right. That's Eli Lilly. I'm liking the look of that. I think that's a good one to tuck away. Medtronic. I'm liking the look of Medtronic. GSK. AstraZeneca. UNH. This is one that Warren Buffett is in, or was in before he retired. Right. BMY, Bristol Myers Squibb. Right, okay. I'm just flicking through this and jotting stuff down if I see anything relevant. Right, tell you what I want to look at now. I want to look at... I'm in this one, Tech Capital. Got in a little too high. Should have been more patient with that one. That's a small one. Now these are decent US ones now. On key support, I'll back off and see where that's going. Relx is doing all right. MU too high for me. I need to pull back. Marvel, that's on a run. I'm in this BMNR still. Can't believe I didn't take that off at 24, but anyway. I'm just above water on that one, just. Yeah, I noticed BT had it's been having a good day recently. Amazon. Yeah, I do like Amazon. I think that's going higher. AMD. Netflix. Yeah, right, let's look at BT. Yeah, so we had a bad day on the 23rd. Went down to £2, and now 2.16. Well, I tell you what, if that gets above 220 anytime soon, I think that's going to start to climb. I think the best case scenario is a retest of £2, but are you in BT? I've not been in it for a while. I've traded it up and down. You're in it. Okay, well, if that closes, like I said, if that closes above 220, you should see 240, 250 fairly soon. Just be wary if it goes under £2, but at the moment it doesn't look as if it will. Volume's good. Right, let's look at TEP then. Yeah, I like it. The best thing about this for me is the volume. We've seen a series of higher volume days ever since we touched 1240. You in this one? Oh, you might buy it, right. Yeah, I am liking this. Obviously, I would like to see it cheaper. And we're 12.25, anything around 12 or 13.42. I would really like to see that lower. But this might be underway. I'll keep an eye on it. Right, anything else you want to look at before I go? Oil and gold are sitting up. Brilliant. All right, thanks a lot for joining us, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.